The Nevada desert stretches endlessly beneath a vast, ink-dark sky, dotted with tiny sparks of starlight that seem both distant and intimately close. The air is dry and cool, carrying the faint scent of sagebrush and the subtle warmth of sand that has absorbed the sun's heat throughout the day. There is a quiet here unlike any other, a stillness that feels almost sacred, as if the world itself is holding its breath. Every sound seems amplified: the gentle rustle of a lone desert plant, the whisper of wind across jagged rock formations, the occasional distant cry of a nocturnal creature. In such isolation, the mind becomes sensitive to even the slightest shift in the environment, to the flicker of a shadow, the glint of an unexpected light on the horizon. As you settle into this scene, imagine walking slowly along a narrow trail carved by years of wandering wildlife, each step leaving a faint imprint on the soft desert sand. The sun has long since disappeared behind distant mountain ranges, and the horizon is painted in subtle gradients of deep indigo and charcoal gray. A crescent moon rises steadily, casting a pale, silvery glow across the landscape, illuminating jagged rock faces and shimmering sands with a quiet elegance. The desert is a place that has always invited wonder, a canvas for the mind to wander, for stories to emerge from the shadows. In this calm, your imagination begins to open to things unseen, things that exist beyond ordinary perception. It was in this very landscape, under skies much like these, that travelers, scientists, and locals alike have reported lights moving in ways that defy easy explanation. Some describe them as soft glows hovering in place, others as rapid bursts of color darting across the horizon, vanishing and reappearing without warning. To the unprepared eye, they might seem like distant aircraft or flickering stars. But eyewitnesses often note subtle differences. These lights shift with intelligence, sometimes pulsing or hovering as if aware of human presence, sometimes dancing along the horizon in patterns that seem too deliberate to be random. Such phenomena have sparked curiosity for generations, drawing people from near and far into the Nevada desert, driven by a longing to witness the mysterious firsthand. Even in the stillness of the night, there is an almost magnetic pull to look upward, to search the dark sky for shapes and movement that the mind both expects and hopes to see. Historians have noted that across cultures and centuries, humanity has been drawn to mysterious lights in the sky, from ancient celestial omens to modern UFO reports. Psychologists suggest that in isolated, quiet spaces, the mind becomes hyper-aware, enhancing the perception of light, movement, and sound, and intensifying the emotional resonance of experiences that might otherwise go unnoticed. In the Nevada desert, this interplay of natural beauty, solitude, and the unknown creates a fertile ground for stories that linger long after the night has passed. As you listen to this story tonight, imagine yourself standing at the edge of a desert plain, the night air brushing against your skin, the warmth of the sand beneath your feet, and the endless stretch of stars above. Allow the gentle cadence of your own breath to synchronize with the rhythm of this landscape. Feel the subtle tension of anticipation, not fear, but a curious, open-minded wonder, letting it ebb and flow with the night itself. The mysterious lights that have appeared over this desert are not merely phenomena to be observed. They are invitations to explore the boundary between known and unknown, between reality and imagination. In this moment, the desert feels alive in ways that words can only hint at. Every rock, every plant, every whispering gust of wind seems to exist in harmony with something greater, something just beyond perception. And as you settle deeper into this calm awareness, the first hints of mysterious lights begin to shimmer faintly on the horizon. They are subtle at first, mere points of glow against the darkness, yet there is something in their movement that draws the eye and captures the mind. Tonight, you will journey with these lights, exploring their history, their encounters, and the questions they raise, always from a place of quiet curiosity and gentle contemplation, letting the story unfold as the night itself does, slowly, patiently, and with a sense of endless possibility. The Nevada desert is a place where the ordinary rules of daily life seem to pause, where the horizon stretches endlessly and the silence itself becomes almost tangible. Rolling dunes, rugged mountain ranges, and wide open plains create a landscape that is at once breathtakingly beautiful and profoundly isolating. The ground beneath your feet shifts with every step, soft sand giving way to rocky patches, worn trails, and the occasional hardy plant that has endured centuries of harsh sun and cold nights. The desert's stark contrasts between light and shadow, heat and chill, movement and stillness, cultivate a heightened awareness in anyone who ventures into its expanse. Here, the mind becomes finely attuned to subtle shifts in the environment. The way wind can carry a distant sound, the glimmer of a reflection on a rock, or the sudden appearance of a light on the horizon. In such an environment, the unusual can quickly become unforgettable. Historically, this region has long been a crossroads of human curiosity and survival. Native American tribes, including the Paiute and Shoshone, traversed these lands for centuries, leaving behind stories and legends that speak of strange lights dancing in the night sky or mysterious phenomena along hidden valleys. These oral traditions hint at a long-standing human fascination with what lies beyond ordinary perception, suggesting that encounters with the inexplicable have shaped cultural memory long before modern technology arrived. Later, settlers and miners navigated the same harsh terrain, noting unusual lights in the sky or strange shapes reflected against mountain silhouettes. Each generation brought new reports, layering modern mystery atop ancient reverence for the desert's enigmatic qualities. The climate of Nevada plays a silent yet powerful role in shaping both the environment and human perception. Summers are scorchingly hot, with daytime temperatures that can melt asphalt, while nights drop into surprisingly cold extremes, creating a desert rhythm that is both harsh and mesmerizing. Winds sweep across the plains, carrying fine dust, rustling the sparse vegetation, and creating shifting patterns of shadow and light. This interplay of natural forces can sometimes make ordinary objects appear extraordinary. A distant campfire glimmering in the dark, the reflection of moonlight on rocks, or the scintillation of stars distorted by heat haze. Psychologists and environmental researchers note that isolation combined with sensory extremes often primes humans for heightened perception, sharpening attention to subtle movements or lights and intensifying the emotional impact of any unusual sighting. Isolation is perhaps the desert's most powerful influence. The Nevada desert is vast and sparsely populated, meaning that for miles there is no interruption from city lights, traffic noise, or human activity. In such silence, even minor disturbances become profound. A sudden rustle of an animal, a fleeting glow on the horizon, or an unexpected shadow can command full attention. This isolation can also produce a gentle introspection, a slowing of thought that allows curiosity, wonder, and sometimes apprehension to flourish. Many eyewitness accounts emphasize how the desert's solitude itself seems to heighten the mystery of the lights, creating a space where imagination and reality coexist in delicate balance. The quietude does not demand action. It encourages observation, reflection, and a subtle anticipation that something unusual may appear at any moment. Adding to this landscape of intrigue is the desert's proximity to sites of modern mystery and secretive activity. Military installations, including the infamous Area 51, occupy sections of Nevada, introducing a layer of official secrecy that has fueled speculation for decades. Aircraft tests, radar experiments, and restricted airspace contribute to both legitimate sightings and the lingering sense that some lights cannot be fully explained by ordinary phenomena. Researchers and historians often note that the desert's combination of isolation, natural beauty, and controlled secrecy makes it uniquely suited for reports of anomalous lights, locations where observation is unhindered, the sky is wide and dark, and unusual patterns cannot easily be dismissed. As you imagine walking along a desert ridge tonight, the soft crunch of sand beneath your feet and the faint scent of sagebrush in the air, you may begin to notice how the landscape itself shapes perception. Mountains cast long, inky shadows, their peaks catching the moonlight in sharp contrast. Valleys hold darkness like a secret, concealing anything that might move within them. Even the stars above seem closer here, sharper and brighter than anywhere else, as though the universe itself is leaning down to whisper its mysteries. In this environment, a light that flickers in the distance takes on significance, not merely because it exists, but because the desert has trained the mind to notice, to question, and to wonder. In this section of our story, the Nevada desert is more than a backdrop. It is a living, breathing character. Its geography, climate, and profound isolation shape every experience, every sensation, and every perception. As the story continues, this vast, enigmatic landscape will frame the mysterious lights that have captivated observers for generations. The desert teaches patience and attentiveness, allowing you, the listener, to settle fully into the rhythm of night, to feel the expanse around you, and to prepare your mind for the unfolding mystery that stretches across the darkened horizon. The Nevada desert is a place where the ordinary rules of daily life seem to pause, where the horizon stretches endlessly and the silence itself becomes almost tangible. Rolling dunes, rugged mountain ranges, and wide open plains create a landscape that is at once breathtakingly beautiful and profoundly isolating. The ground beneath your feet shifts with every step, soft sand giving way to rocky patches, worn trails, and the occasional hardy plant that has endured centuries of harsh sun and cold nights. The desert's stark contrasts between light and shadow, heat and chill, movement and stillness, cultivate a heightened awareness in anyone who ventures into its expanse. Here, the mind becomes finely attuned to subtle shifts in the environment. The way wind can carry a distant sound, the glimmer of a reflection on a rock, or the sudden appearance of a light on the horizon. In such an environment, the unusual can quickly become unforgettable. Historically, this region has long been a crossroads of human curiosity and survival. Native American tribes, including the Paiute and Shoshone, traversed these lands for centuries, leaving behind stories and legends that speak of strange lights dancing in the night sky or mysterious phenomena along hidden valleys. These oral traditions hint at a long-standing human fascination with what lies beyond ordinary perception, suggesting that encounters with the inexplicable have shaped cultural memory long before modern technology arrived. Later, settlers and miners navigated the same harsh terrain, noting unusual lights in the sky or strange shapes reflected against mountain silhouettes. Each generation brought new reports, layering modern mystery atop ancient reverence for the desert's enigmatic qualities. The climate of Nevada plays a silent yet powerful role in shaping both the environment and human perception. Summers are scorchingly hot, with daytime temperatures that can melt asphalt, while nights drop into surprisingly cold extremes, creating a desert rhythm that is both harsh and mesmerizing. Winds sweep across the plains, carrying fine dust, rustling the sparse vegetation, and creating shifting patterns of shadow and light. This interplay of natural forces can sometimes make ordinary objects appear extraordinary. A distant campfire glimmering in the dark, the reflection of moonlight on rocks, or the scintillation of stars distorted by heat haze. Psychologists and environmental researchers note that isolation combined with sensory extremes often primes humans for heightened perception, sharpening attention to subtle movements or lights and intensifying the emotional impact of any unusual sighting. Isolation is perhaps the desert's most powerful influence. The Nevada desert is vast and sparsely populated, meaning that for miles there is no interruption from city lights, traffic noise, or human activity. In such silence, even minor disturbances become profound. A sudden rustle of an animal, a fleeting glow on the horizon, or an unexpected shadow can command full attention. This isolation can also produce a gentle introspection, a slowing of thought that allows curiosity, wonder, and sometimes apprehension to flourish. Many eyewitness accounts emphasize how the desert's solitude itself seems to heighten the mystery of the lights, creating a space where imagination and reality coexist in delicate balance. The quietude does not demand action. It encourages observation, reflection, and a subtle anticipation that something unusual may appear at any moment. Adding to this landscape of intrigue is the desert's proximity to sites of modern mystery and secretive activity. Military installations, including the infamous Area 51, occupy sections of Nevada, introducing a layer of official secrecy that has fueled speculation for decades. Aircraft tests, radar experiments, and restricted airspace contribute to both legitimate sightings and the lingering sense that some lights cannot be fully explained by ordinary phenomena. Researchers and historians often note that the desert's combination of isolation, natural beauty, and controlled secrecy makes it uniquely suited for reports of anomalous lights, locations where observation is unhindered, the sky is wide and dark, and unusual patterns cannot easily be dismissed. As you imagine walking along a desert ridge tonight, the soft crunch of sand beneath your feet and the faint scent of sagebrush in the air, you may begin to notice how the landscape itself shapes perception. Mountains cast long, inky shadows, their peaks catching the moonlight in sharp contrast. Valleys hold darkness like a secret, concealing anything that might move within them. Even the stars above seem closer here, sharper and brighter than anywhere else, as though the universe itself is leaning down to whisper its mysteries. In this environment, a light that flickers in the distance takes on significance, not merely because it exists, but because the desert has trained the mind to notice, to question, and to wonder. In this section of our story, the Nevada desert is more than a backdrop. It is a living, breathing character. Its geography, climate, and profound isolation shape every experience, every sensation, and every perception. As the story continues, this vast, enigmatic landscape will frame the mysterious lights that have captivated observers for generations. The desert teaches patience and attentiveness, allowing you, the listener, to settle fully into the rhythm of night, to feel the expanse around you, and to prepare your mind for the unfolding mystery that stretches across the darkened horizon. The Nevada desert has long been a stage for phenomena that challenge easy explanation, with reports of mysterious lights stretching back decades and even centuries. Early settlers and miners of the 19th century often recorded unusual observations in personal journals or letters, though many were dismissed at the time as tricks of the moonlight or illusions caused by the heat and dust of the desert. Yet even in these earliest accounts, there is a recurring theme: lights moving against the natural order, appearing suddenly in otherwise empty stretches of the landscape, sometimes hovering silently for hours, and at other times darting across the horizon in ways that defy normal explanation. These initial records, fragmentary as they may be, laid the groundwork for a tradition of curiosity and speculation that would grow steadily over the following decades. By the mid-20th century, Nevada became a focal point for more systematic documentation of strange lights. The 1950s, in particular, brought a surge in sightings, coinciding with increased aviation activity, military testing, and the rise of the modern UFO phenomenon in American culture. Civilians, ranchers, and even pilots reported glowing orbs, fast-moving streaks, and lights that appeared to respond to observers' presence. Newspapers occasionally captured these reports, often with a tone of bemusement, but the sheer number and consistency of sightings could not be entirely ignored. Historians note that these mid-century accounts coincided with the Cold War era's secretive military developments, leading some to speculate that experimental aircraft were mistaken for something more otherworldly. Yet even with such explanations, witnesses frequently described behaviors and patterns that seemed deliberately intelligent, distinct from conventional aviation technology of the time. Among the most notable series of sightings were those reported near Groom Lake, the area now commonly associated with Area 51. Between the late 1950s and 1970s, multiple reports described lights moving in formations that were highly unusual, sometimes hovering in place for long durations, sometimes weaving in intricate patterns across the night sky. Researchers and ufologists compiled these reports, cross-referencing them with known flight paths, weather patterns, and astronomical events, often finding that the lights could not be easily reconciled with any mundane source. Some historians suggest that the pattern and timing of these lights reflected both natural phenomena and the growing interest in aviation and aerospace experimentation, creating a complex interplay between reality and interpretation. Eyewitnesses often emphasized the sense of something purposeful in the light's movement. Pilots reported encountering glowing spheres that appeared to track their aircraft or suddenly accelerate far beyond the capabilities of known technology. Local residents spoke of lights that seemed to pause midair, shift direction without warning, or vanish entirely in an instant. These accounts reveal more than simple visual anomalies. They capture human reactions to the extraordinary, awe, fear, wonder, and a profound curiosity about what could exist beyond known experience. Psychologists studying eyewitness perception note that the desert environment, with its stark horizons and minimal visual references, can intensify these experiences, yet the consistency across decades and observers suggests that many of these encounters were grounded in something genuinely unusual. Declassified government documents from the era provide additional context. Some Air Force reports acknowledged unidentified aerial phenomena in Nevada, though explanations often defaulted to misidentified aircraft, weather balloons, or atmospheric reflections. In one particularly detailed report, multiple observers described lights over a remote desert range behaving in ways that could not be accounted for by any conventional technology at the time. While official channels frequently sought to provide rational explanations, the persistence of similar reports over the years indicates that a portion of these events remained unexplained, leaving room for continued speculation and investigation. Researchers argue that this tension between official dismissal and ongoing eyewitness accounts fuels both intrigue and credibility, creating a narrative where mystery persists alongside verifiable documentation. Moving into the late 20th and early 21st centuries, reports of Nevada lights did not diminish. In fact, the proliferation of cameras, smartphones, and online forums expanded both the documentation and discussion of these phenomena. Tourists, amateur astronomers, and local residents increasingly captured images or videos of unusual lights, often sharing them with communities eager to discuss and analyze each sighting. Patterns emerged: hovering orbs, lights moving against prevailing winds, rapid bursts of acceleration, and formations that appeared deliberately coordinated. While skeptics offered explanations ranging from drones to atmospheric anomalies, the cumulative weight of these observations, combined with historical consistency, made it increasingly difficult to dismiss all accounts as mere misperception. In addition to individual sightings, organized research efforts began to take shape. Ufologists, journalists, and local historians compiled databases of reported incidents, seeking correlations between geography, timing, and light behavior. Some investigations suggested that geological or atmospheric phenomena might explain certain patterns, such as mirages or rare electrical discharges, while others highlighted the inexplicability of specific encounters. The interplay between natural explanations and unexplained occurrences became a central theme in understanding Nevada's mysterious lights, a balance between scientific reasoning and the acknowledgement that some experiences remain beyond current comprehension. As you imagine standing in the Nevada desert tonight, under the same vast sky that has inspired so many reports, consider the countless observers who have looked up and witnessed the extraordinary. Their accounts, spanning more than a century, create a mosaic of experience, some explainable, some baffling, all compelling. In this quiet expanse, the desert itself seems to preserve memory, holding traces of light, shadow, and human wonder. These historical sightings form the foundation of the mystery, connecting past and present, fact and speculation, and preparing the mind to encounter the deeply personal and vivid eyewitness stories that follow. The most compelling aspect of the Nevada lights lies not in documents or statistics, but in the stories of those who have seen them with their own eyes. Imagine standing alone in the desert, the night air cool against your skin, sand shifting softly beneath your feet, and a horizon so wide and dark that the mind feels both liberated and alert. In such a setting, even the smallest flicker of light can command full attention, And for many, what begins as curiosity quickly transforms into wonder and sometimes unease. Witnesses consistently describe the lights as behaving in ways that defy ordinary expectations, hovering silently, moving against prevailing winds, accelerating suddenly, or forming patterns that seem deliberate and intelligent. These experiences, repeated across decades, create a tapestry of human encounters that both intrigue and unsettle, inviting the imagination to explore possibilities far beyond conventional understanding. One early account comes from a lone pilot navigating the Nevada skies in the late 1960s. Flying over a remote stretch of desert, he noticed small, glowing orbs appearing out of nowhere. Initially, he assumed they were distant aircraft, but their movements were unlike anything he had encountered. The lights would hover in place for several minutes, then suddenly accelerate, weaving intricate patterns across the night sky. He reported that the objects appeared to track his plane with precision, responding to changes in speed and direction in ways that suggested intention. Despite his extensive aviation experience, he could find no explanation for the phenomenon. Historians and ufologists later referenced this account as emblematic of a broader pattern, skilled observers noting something genuinely unaccountable, an experience both extraordinary and credible. Local residents in rural Nevada offer equally compelling stories, often intertwined with the desert's landscape and atmosphere. Ranchers describe walking to check on livestock under star-filled skies, only to notice lights hovering above valleys or along ridgelines. One woman recounted sitting on her porch late at night when a glowing sphere appeared over a distant mesa. It pulsed softly, casting an ethereal glow on surrounding rocks, then slowly rose and vanished without sound. The witness emphasized the calmness of the experience, noting that it was more mesmerizing than frightening, a gentle intrusion of the unknown into the ordinary. Such accounts illustrate how the desert itself enhances the perception of these lights, creating moments that are both peaceful and uncanny, where ordinary life intersects with the extraordinary. Eyewitnesses often note the interplay of emotion and perception in these encounters. Psychologists studying the phenomenon suggest that isolation, darkness, and anticipation can amplify sensory awareness, making lights appear more vivid, movements more deliberate, and experiences more emotionally resonant. This does not imply fabrication or exaggeration. On the contrary, the consistency of reports from independent sources suggests that many observers truly encountered phenomena beyond conventional explanation. For some, the experience is fleeting, a sudden glimpse of motion across a ridge, a glow that fades before it can be fully understood. For others, the encounter is extended, lasting several minutes or even longer, leaving a lasting impression that shapes their perception of the desert and the night sky for years to come. In addition to personal accounts, some witnesses have included subtle environmental details that lend credibility to their observations. For instance, hikers have described the way the desert air felt different near the lights, noting a slight warmth or unusual clarity in the atmosphere. Pilots have reported instruments behaving erratically in proximity to glowing orbs, while photographers noted unexpected flares or lens anomalies when attempting to capture the lights. These details suggest that the phenomenon is not solely psychological. Something in the environment interacts with human perception, creating experiences that are both visual and physical. Even skeptics acknowledge that such reports, when taken collectively, present a fascinating puzzle that warrants careful study rather than dismissal. Another layer of intrigue arises from the behavioral patterns of the lights themselves. Witnesses describe them moving in ways that seem purposeful, almost intelligent, forming straight lines, following terrain, or converging into clusters before dispersing. In some cases, multiple observers in different locations report simultaneous sightings, suggesting a scale and coordination that is difficult to explain by natural or man-made sources alone. Researchers in the field of ufology have cataloged these behaviors meticulously, noting consistency across decades, geography, and observer profiles. While conventional explanations like military aircraft, drones, or atmospheric phenomena may account for some sightings. The recurring patterns, sudden accelerations, and prolonged hovering remain puzzling and unaccounted for in many reports. The personal nature of these encounters also highlights the emotional and psychological impact of the lights. Witnesses frequently describe a mixture of awe, calm, and curiosity, sometimes accompanied by a subtle sense of unease. This is not panic, but a quiet recognition that they are observing something rare, something that defies immediate categorization. The experience often leaves a lasting impression, shaping the way observers view the desert, the night sky, and even the possibilities of existence beyond the known. Many return to the same locations repeatedly, drawn by a desire to reconnect with the sense of mystery, or to witness the lights once more under the expansive desert sky. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of these stories is their consistency across generations and backgrounds. From pilots to ranchers, hikers to scientists, the descriptions of hovering orbs, pulsating glows, and inexplicable movements converge in surprising ways. Each account is unique, colored by individual perception, yet patterns emerge: the interplay of movement, light, silence, and the vastness of the desert. Together, these stories create a rich, layered narrative that bridges personal experience with historical and cultural context, inviting the listener to imagine the desert night not only as a physical space but as a realm where the known and unknown intertwine. As you listen tonight, imagine yourself in the middle of this desert, surrounded by the quiet stillness, with only your breath and the faint rustle of sand underfoot. Picture the distant glow on the horizon, the lights pulsing softly, moving with intention, or simply lingering as if observing you in return. Feel the mixture of calm and curiosity that such encounters bring, allowing the mind to drift gently between wonder and reflection. These personal experiences, sometimes fleeting, sometimes prolonged, form the human heart of the Nevada Lights mystery, connecting each of us to the long history of observation, fascination, and the enduring allure of the unexplained. The mysterious lights over the Nevada desert have long drawn the attention not only of curious civilians but also of government agencies and the media. From the earliest documented sightings in the mid-20th century to contemporary reports, the interplay between official statements, classified operations, and public perception has added layers of intrigue to an already enigmatic phenomenon. While some explanations point to natural atmospheric effects, military testing, or human error, a wealth of declassified documents, investigative journalism, and persistent eyewitness testimony suggests that at least a portion of these events remains unexplained. The balance between transparency and secrecy, fact and speculation, has helped solidify the Nevada Lights as a topic that continues to captivate both researchers and casual observers alike. Government involvement in Nevada's skies began to intensify during the Cold War, when military and intelligence agencies expanded operations across the region. Areas like Groom Lake, now synonymous with Area 51, became highly restricted airspace, and experimental aircraft were routinely tested in secrecy. Official explanations for unusual sightings often cited these programs, suggesting that observers had seen prototypes of jets, drones, or reconnaissance equipment. Declassified Air Force and CIA documents, however, reveal that many incidents remained classified precisely because they did not conform to known aviation or atmospheric phenomena. Some reports include multiple witnesses observing lights moving in patterns that defied aerodynamic expectations, suggesting either highly advanced technology or an entirely different type of phenomenon. Historians note that this duality, acknowledgement of secretive government testing alongside unexplained anomalies, has created fertile ground for both serious investigation and public fascination. The media's role has been equally significant in shaping the story of Nevada's lights. Local newspapers often recorded early sightings with a tone of cautious intrigue, balancing between reporting first-hand accounts and adhering to scientific skepticism. Larger national outlets occasionally covered these phenomena during periods of heightened public interest, such as the 1950s UFO craze or the release of key government documents decades later. Investigative journalists have painstakingly pieced together narratives from multiple sources, revealing a complex web of reports, redactions, and contradictions. While some media coverage has leaned toward sensationalism, the majority of well-documented accounts carefully relay the words of eyewitnesses, preserving the credibility of individual experiences without resorting to exaggeration. This careful reporting helps the listener understand that the Nevada lights occupy a space between ordinary experience and extraordinary speculation. A particularly revealing aspect of government documentation is the pattern of acknowledgement coupled with secrecy. In some instances, Air Force reports note unidentified aerial phenomena observed over remote desert locations, yet the files often conclude with caveats about possible misidentifications or environmental effects. CIA documents, released under declassification programs, reference similar events, noting that analysts were sometimes unable to determine the origin of certain lights. Researchers argue that these ambiguities do not necessarily confirm extraterrestrial presence, but they do validate that multiple credible observers witnessed phenomena that could not be easily explained. This tension between official rationalization and persistent mystery contributes to the allure of Nevada's skies, offering both intrigue and credibility to those who seek understanding. Eyewitness accounts often contrast sharply with official explanations, adding depth to the narrative. Pilots, ranchers, and hikers describe behaviors that suggest deliberate intelligence behind the lights, rapid accelerations, hovering in place for extended periods, and coordinated movements that appear purposeful. Government documents may attempt to attribute some sightings to experimental aircraft or atmospheric anomalies, yet the consistency and specificity of eyewitness testimony across decades challenge purely conventional explanations. Some historians suggest that this dissonance highlights the limits of institutional knowledge, emphasizing that first-hand human observation sometimes reveals patterns and anomalies that even sophisticated technology struggles to capture or explain. In addition to formal reports, the media has played a crucial role in both documenting and interpreting the mystery. Investigative pieces, documentaries, and local news features have chronicled not only individual sightings but also broader patterns. Clusters of lights appearing during certain seasons, simultaneous observations by independent witnesses, and reports coinciding with nearby military or aviation activity. By presenting multiple perspectives, government statements, eyewitness testimony, and expert commentary, the media has helped construct a nuanced understanding of the lights, one that acknowledges mystery while providing context and potential explanations. For listeners, this layered approach reinforces the idea that the Nevada lights exist in a space that is neither fully explainable nor purely fantastical. The combination of government activity and media coverage also fosters an ongoing dialogue between skepticism and belief. On one hand, analysts, journalists, and historians encourage critical evaluation, emphasizing environmental explanations, human perception, and the potential for hoaxes. On the other hand, the persistence of credible, detailed accounts, coupled with the limitations of official disclosures, leaves open the possibility that some lights remain genuinely unaccounted for. This balance allows the narrative to maintain a grounded credibility while still embracing the wonder and intrigue that make the phenomenon so compelling. Listeners are invited to explore the Nevada desert not merely as a physical landscape but as a liminal space where reality, secrecy, and imagination intersect. As the story unfolds, understanding the government and media's roles prepares the listener for the next layer of the mystery, the alternative theories and paranormal interpretations that attempt to explain the lights. By examining official records, investigative journalism, and first-hand accounts, we see that the Nevada lights occupy a complex space, a phenomenon that challenges conventional wisdom, inspires public curiosity, and invites reflection on the limits of human knowledge. In the calm of the desert night, these threads of fact, documentation, and speculation intertwine, creating a rich tapestry that guides the imagination gently into contemplation, mystery, and anticipation. The mysterious lights over the Nevada desert have left an indelible mark not only on observers and researchers but also on the cultural imagination. Across decades, these phenomena have inspired countless stories, artistic interpretations, and creative explorations that extend far beyond the desert itself. The interplay of light, isolation, and mystery has proven irresistible to writers, filmmakers, musicians, and artists, each drawn to the desert's quiet expanses as both setting and muse. In literature, novels and short stories often reference glowing orbs hovering over vast landscapes, capturing the delicate tension between human curiosity and the unknown. The Nevada lights, real or imagined, have become a symbol of the extraordinary lingering at the edge of ordinary life. Folklore, too, plays a significant role in shaping cultural perception. Long before modern UFO sightings, Native American tribes such as the Paiute and Shoshone recounted tales of strange lights moving across the desert sky. Some stories described spiritual messengers, guiding or warning humans, while others spoke of phenomena that defied explanation entirely, perhaps connected to forces of nature or the unseen world. These oral traditions imbued the landscape with an aura of sacred mystery, a recognition that the desert was a place where ordinary experience could intersect with the extraordinary. Historians note that the persistence of such stories illustrates a universal human impulse to give narrative shape to what is observed, to connect personal experience with collective understanding, and to preserve the wonder of unexplained phenomena across generations. Modern media has further amplified the influence of Nevada's lights. Documentaries, television programs, and films often draw on eyewitness accounts and declassified documents, blending factual reporting with narrative storytelling. This has created a layered cultural memory in which the lights exist simultaneously as reported phenomenon, artistic inspiration, and enduring mystery. Even musicians have referenced these experiences, capturing the desert's ethereal qualities through ambient sounds and evocative lyrics, while painters and digital artists recreate the shifting, luminous glows in scenes that convey both serenity and awe. In each medium, the lights serve as more than spectacle. They become a lens through which human curiosity, imagination, and emotion are expressed. Tourism and local culture have also been shaped by the allure of the lights. Nevada towns, once quiet and isolated, have embraced the phenomenon in various ways, from UFO-themed museums to annual festivals celebrating extraterrestrial lore. Visitors from around the world travel to these areas, seeking the same quiet night sky, the same wide horizons, and the possibility of witnessing the mysterious lights firsthand. Anthropologists note that these cultural practices both preserve and transform the narratives, blending history, personal experience, and myth into a living, evolving story. The desert itself becomes a stage for human fascination, curiosity, and creativity, inviting all who enter to become participants in its ongoing mystery. Literature and film have often emphasized the desert as a character in its own right. Writers describe it as a place of silence, reflection, and revelation, where the lights take on symbolic meaning. Some portray the glowing orbs as guides or omens, while others present them as enigmatic phenomena that defy interpretation, emphasizing the limits of human understanding. These representations, while fictionalized, echo the real experiences of witnesses, reinforcing the interplay between fact and imagination. Similarly, documentaries and nonfiction books often juxtapose historical accounts with cultural interpretations, showing that the mystery of the lights is as much about human perception and creativity as it is about the phenomena themselves. The cultural impact of the lights extends beyond creative expression into academic and psychological inquiry. Researchers studying folklore, literature, and media analysis note that stories of Nevada's lights illustrate a broader human pattern, the tendency to blend observation with narrative, to interpret unexplained events in ways that resonate emotionally and socially. Psychologists suggest that the desert environment, its vast spaces, isolation, and nocturnal stillness, encourages reflective storytelling, allowing witnesses to process extraordinary experiences through imagination, language, and art. These stories, in turn, influence subsequent generations, creating a self-perpetuating cycle in which culture, perception, and mystery intertwine. Even local communities carry echoes of the lights in everyday life. Ranchers, hikers, and residents often share stories that mix factual observation with legend, recounting how glowing orbs appeared in particular valleys or along ridgelines. These narratives serve multiple purposes: preserving historical accounts, enriching cultural identity, and inspiring wonder. The lights become markers of place, turning the Nevada desert into a repository of collective memory, imagination, and aesthetic appreciation. For those who encounter the desert at night, this cultural backdrop heightens the sense of anticipation and curiosity, making the experience of seeing a mysterious light all the more vivid and meaningful. As you listen tonight, imagine these layers of human culture unfolding alongside the desert landscape. Picture storytellers of centuries past, documenting visions of the night sky, modern filmmakers capturing the glowing orbs on camera, artists rendering ethereal glows across canvas, and local communities preserving narratives in word and memory. The lights hover not only in the sky but also in the shared imagination, bridging history, creativity, and personal experience. This section reminds us that mystery is not only in what is seen but in how we interpret, share, and preserve it, allowing the Nevada lights to linger in both reality and imagination. In this gentle reflection, the cultural significance of Nevada's lights emerges as a calm, enduring presence, one that inspires creativity, contemplation, and quiet wonder. The desert becomes more than a physical space. It becomes a canvas on which stories, memories, and imaginations are painted, glimmering faintly under the endless expanse of night. The lights continue to hover in our collective consciousness, a reminder that mystery, beauty, and human curiosity are inseparable, inviting both awe and tranquility as the night unfolds. In recent decades, the mysterious lights of the Nevada desert have attracted not only casual observers but also organized efforts to study and document them systematically. Advancements in technology, ranging from high-resolution cameras to sophisticated radar systems, have allowed modern researchers to gather more detailed data than ever before. Citizen scientists, amateur astronomers, and independent investigators contribute significantly, blending curiosity with methodical observation. These modern investigations have transformed the phenomenon from anecdotal accounts into a structured field of study, even as the mystery endures. For listeners, this section offers a gentle exploration of how the human desire to understand is balanced with the recognition that some aspects of the unknown remain, preserving a sense of calm wonder. One of the most important tools in contemporary research is night vision and infrared photography. Unlike earlier decades, when observations relied solely on the human eye, modern technology allows for precise tracking of lights even under extreme darkness. Cameras and sensors can record subtle movements, accelerations, and patterns invisible to the naked eye. Some researchers have captured video sequences showing orbs hovering for extended periods before disappearing suddenly, while others document unusual trajectories that defy known aerial mechanics. These recordings provide valuable context, helping investigators distinguish between mundane explanations, such as aircraft or atmospheric effects, and phenomena that remain unexplained. Each recorded event becomes a small thread in the growing tapestry of Nevada's desert mysteries. Radar technology has added another dimension to understanding these lights. Local and military radar occasionally pick up objects that correspond with eyewitness reports, revealing movement patterns that challenge conventional flight behavior. In some cases, the radar data confirms rapid acceleration or instantaneous directional changes, matching what witnesses describe visually. While not conclusive proof of extraterrestrial or paranormal activity, These readings lend a degree of credibility to reports that might otherwise be dismissed as misperception or optical illusion. Researchers often highlight this convergence of visual and technical data as a compelling element, demonstrating that the Nevada lights are not purely subjective experiences but may have measurable physical properties. Citizen scientists and independent investigators play a particularly important role in modern documentation. Equipped with cameras, GPS trackers, and observation journals, these enthusiasts systematically record sightings, noting location, weather conditions, time of night, and other relevant variables. Online databases and forums allow observers to compare reports, identify patterns, and corroborate independent sightings. Some enthusiasts even deploy automated monitoring stations that track temperature, electromagnetic readings, and visual anomalies over long periods. These efforts emphasize a calm, meticulous approach, rooted in observation rather than sensationalism, and allow the phenomenon to be studied collaboratively and transparently. Field researchers also employ experimental setups to rule out conventional explanations. By recreating conditions such as reflections from car headlights, distant aircraft, or celestial bodies, investigators can compare real sightings to controlled scenarios. In many cases, the lights observed in the Nevada desert behave differently, moving in ways that defy simulation and maintaining consistency across multiple reports. These comparative studies strengthen the credibility of unexplained sightings and underscore the uniqueness of the phenomenon. The careful combination of observation, measurement, and controlled testing allows both researchers and casual observers to approach the mystery thoughtfully, balancing curiosity with reason. Technological advancements have also enhanced the accessibility of documentation for the broader public. Drones, high-quality smartphones, and compact cameras allow tourists and local residents to capture lights with unprecedented clarity. Some of these images and videos have circulated widely online, drawing attention from researchers, journalists, and the general public. While some footage is difficult to authenticate, the sheer volume of consistent reports, particularly when paired with historical accounts, suggests that a genuine phenomenon persists. Observers often describe a sense of wonder in capturing these lights, an experience that mirrors the curiosity of those who came before, now amplified by modern tools. Collaborations between professional researchers and independent observers have also become more common. Academic studies, sometimes in fields like astronomy, psychology, or environmental science, explore the interplay of perception, atmospheric conditions, and electromagnetic activity. Some teams focus on understanding how isolated desert environments heighten human sensitivity to light and movement, while others investigate whether geological or magnetic anomalies could produce unusual visual effects. These studies do not always provide definitive answers but contribute to a richer understanding of the phenomenon, blending scientific rigor with an appreciation for mystery. For listeners, this underscores a calm reflection that inquiry and wonder can coexist, and that sometimes questions themselves are as meaningful as answers. One of the subtle but fascinating findings of modern investigation is the interplay between observation and anticipation. Many reports note that lights appear more frequently in areas where observers expect them, but even skeptics acknowledge that repeated sightings occur across decades and locations independent of expectation. This suggests that while human perception may shape how we experience the lights, the phenomenon itself persists outside of subjective expectation. Observers often describe the calm tension of watching the horizon for hours, waiting quietly in the still night air, only to have lights appear with gentle unpredictability. These experiences emphasize patience, mindfulness, and a meditative engagement with the natural world, qualities that align perfectly with the slow, reflective pace of a sleep story. Modern investigations also highlight the collaborative nature of mystery. With decades of historical sightings, eyewitness accounts, and technological documentation, the Nevada lights are studied not by a single authority but by a network of enthusiasts, academics, and casual observers. This distributed, cooperative approach allows for nuanced analysis, careful comparison, and the preservation of both fact and experience. It demonstrates that mystery need not be sensational to be compelling, and that quiet, deliberate observation can uncover patterns, enhance understanding, and maintain a profound sense of wonder. As you imagine yourself tonight in the desert, surrounded by silence, stars, and the cool night air, picture the lights glimmering faintly across the horizon. Imagine researchers with cameras, instruments, and journals recording every movement, noting subtle changes, and comparing observations with others. Feel the patience, the stillness, and the gentle anticipation that accompanies modern investigation. In this space, the desert and its lights become both a natural laboratory and a sanctuary for quiet contemplation, bridging curiosity, knowledge, and the enduring mystery that draws humans to the Nevada night. Through technology, citizen science, and careful study, the lights are observed, documented, and celebrated not as threats, but as invitations to wonder. Each observation, measurement, or photograph contributes to a slow, meditative understanding, reminding us that some mysteries are best approached with patience, calm attention, and open-minded curiosity. The Nevada desert, vast and silent, continues to hold these lights in its embrace, offering both intrigue and serenity, as listeners drift into reflection and gentle imagination under the star-studded sky. As night falls over the Nevada desert, the lights invite a moment of calm reflection. Decades of eyewitness accounts, historical records, and modern investigations reveal a phenomenon that resists simple explanation, yet remains grounded in credible observation. Pilots, ranchers, and researchers alike describe lights that hover, shift, and move in ways that defy conventional understanding, prompting both curiosity and quiet contemplation. Reflection allows us to consider not only the lights themselves but also our own perception and imagination. The desert's vast silence heightens awareness, encouraging mindfulness and gentle introspection. Cultural narratives, from Native American oral traditions to contemporary literature and art, show how humans have long sought meaning in these luminous mysteries, blending observation with storytelling and imagination. Science and skepticism offer another perspective, reminding us that atmospheric effects, technology, and perception can account for some sightings, while others remain unresolved. This balance encourages a thoughtful, open-minded approach, where wonder and reason coexist. Ultimately, the Nevada lights are as much about experience as explanation. Observing them, even in imagination, invites patience, mindfulness, and a meditative engagement with the unknown. As listeners drift into sleep, the lights become a gentle symbol of curiosity, reflection, and calm, bridging history, culture, and human fascination with mystery. As the desert night stretches endlessly under a canopy of stars, the Nevada lights linger quietly on the horizon, pulsing and shifting with a rhythm all their own. There is a certain stillness here, a serenity that invites gentle attention and reflection. Tonight, after tracing their appearances through history, exploring eyewitness accounts, examining government reports, considering alternative theories, and reflecting on cultural impact, we pause to gather these threads together. The Nevada lights are more than a fleeting spectacle. They are a phenomenon that embodies curiosity, mystery, and quiet wonder. Their presence reminds us that the world is layered with experiences both seen and unseen, understood and enigmatic, and that there is profound value in simply observing without expectation. The desert itself acts as both stage and participant. Its vast, open landscapes, silent expanses, and subtle variations in terrain create a natural theater for these luminous displays. Early observers, from Native Americans to settlers and ranchers, noted not only the lights themselves but also the feeling of the desert around them, the hush of night, the cool air brushing against the skin, and the gentle sounds of nocturnal life. In these moments, the lights seem almost inseparable from the desert's character, as if the land itself is preserving and amplifying their mystery. Modern observers continue this tradition, standing in quiet anticipation, noting subtle shifts in brightness or movement, and feeling the hush deepen with every passing moment. The journey through history reveals that these lights have captivated human attention for generations. Mid-20th century sightings, captured in local newspapers, government reports, and declassified documents, show a pattern of observation that consistently defies simple explanation. Pilots have reported objects moving at impossible speeds or changing direction abruptly. Ranchers have described hovering orbs that fade into the night. Even official statements sometimes acknowledge unidentified aerial phenomena, indicating that the lights cannot always be rationalized. In every era, witnesses approach these experiences with a combination of wonder, caution, and curiosity, showing that the Nevada lights inspire reflection as much as fascination. Eyewitness accounts offer a window into the emotional and psychological dimension of the phenomenon. Many describe a sense of quiet awe, a meditative engagement with the desert night, and even a feeling of being gently observed by something beyond understanding. Pilots, hikers, and locals alike often recount how the lights seem to move with purpose, sometimes appearing responsive to human presence, yet always maintaining an air of mystery. Psychologists suggest that these experiences can evoke heightened mindfulness, introspection, and a deepened awareness of one's surroundings. For listeners tonight, imagining these encounters offers a way to cultivate calm observation, to follow the lights with gentle attention, and to allow the mind to experience both wonder and tranquility. Government involvement and media coverage have added layers of credibility and context. Declassified Air Force and CIA documents acknowledge that some sightings could not be explained, even after rigorous investigation. Military testing, experimental aircraft, and atmospheric effects account for some events, yet many remain unresolved, highlighting the limits of our understanding. Media reports, from local newspapers to documentaries, have chronicled both the facts and the persistent ambiguity, shaping public perception while preserving the mystery. Considering this interplay between observation, official explanation, and reporting provides an additional dimension for reflection, demonstrating that mystery can coexist with structure, documentation, and reason. Alternative and paranormal theories expand the imagination, allowing the mind to wander gently into possibilities that transcend conventional understanding. Whether these lights are manifestations of extraterrestrial craft, interdimensional phenomena, or energy-based events influenced by the desert's unique geology, they inspire contemplation rather than fear. These interpretations are supported, in part, by consistent patterns of behavior documented over decades: hovering, rapid movement, coordinated formations, and repeated appearances in particular locations. Reflecting on these possibilities encourages an open, calm engagement with the unknown, where the journey of imagination itself becomes a source of relaxation and quiet intrigue. Cultural perspectives further deepen the experience. Native American traditions speak of the lights as spiritual messengers or guardians of the desert, while contemporary literature, film, and art interpret them as symbols of curiosity, the unknown, or human longing for connection. Artists and storytellers transform the ephemeral glow into narratives and visual landscapes that explore themes of mystery, exploration, and reflection. Festivals, museums, and public storytelling continue this tradition, blending history, observation, and imagination into shared experiences. This cultural layer reinforces that the lights are not merely physical phenomena. They are woven into the human psyche, imagination, and collective consciousness. Modern investigations, aided by technology and citizen science, continue to illuminate the mystery. Infrared cameras, night vision equipment, radar tracking, and systematic observations document details that were once invisible to the human eye. Citizen scientists log sightings, compare reports, and analyze patterns, combining careful observation with curiosity. While some lights can be explained through environmental or technological causes, many remain elusive, maintaining the core mystery. Reflecting on this careful study highlights the blend of patience, observation, and wonder that characterizes human engagement with the unknown. It also demonstrates that mystery can be approached thoughtfully and methodically, without diminishing its capacity to inspire awe. The act of reflection itself becomes central to the experience of the Nevada lights. Witnessing or imagining them encourages patience, attentiveness, and mindfulness. The desert night slows the perception of time, focusing awareness on subtle movements, quiet shifts in light, and the interplay between sky and land. The phenomenon becomes a meditation, observing without judgment, following the motion of lights without expectation, and allowing curiosity and serenity to coexist. It is a gentle lesson in embracing uncertainty, appreciating beauty, and cultivating calm engagement with experiences that defy simple explanation. Tonight, as you lie ready to drift into sleep, imagine standing quietly beneath the vast night sky. Feel the desert air brushing softly across your skin, hear distant nocturnal sounds, and observe the faint glow of lights hovering, moving, and pulsing along the horizon. Let curiosity guide you without urgency, allowing your mind to follow the patterns gently, to reflect, and to dream. The lights, enduring and enigmatic, serve as a bridge between observation, imagination, and introspection, a lullaby for the mind that blends wonder, mystery, and calm reflection. The Nevada lights remind us that mystery is not merely something to be solved, but something to be experienced. They encourage mindfulness, contemplation, and appreciation of the vast, unknowable world. In the quiet of night, under the desert sky, they offer both intrigue and tranquility, guiding the mind gently toward rest. As your thoughts drift with their glow, let serenity and curiosity mingle, carrying you into deep, peaceful sleep while leaving a lingering sense of wonder. The desert, the lights, and your imagination converge, creating a space where mystery is both inspiring and soothing, and where calm reflection allows the mind to rest in harmony with the vastness of night.